Yo, guys, I hope you're well. So, guys, if the UK is so racist, then why are so many people risking their lives to come here? This is a legitimate question I've been asking myself. So, guys, if the UK is as awful and racist as so many people are reporting and have been reporting since the Brexit question and Brexit, then why are more and more people risking life and limb to get to this country? I keep asking myself this question and I cannot come up with any answer that makes any logical sense. Surely people would avoid coming to the UK at all costs and be desperate to leave as soon as humanly possible if things were so intolerable here. So, guys, I was born and raised and brought up and grew up in West London. And in my teenage years, I used to travel all the time on my own to the south side, the north side, and the east side of London, people. And that was to see friends and to go clubbing. In fact, most nights. I was a huge fan of hip hop and I travelled to every hip hop venue from Hammersmith to Brixton, following the UK and the US rap acts. So I got to see a lot of late night London, people, and even further afield. We need to remember, guys, that this was in the days before the mobile phones, the days before the internet. So if you got caught lacking, you were really caught lacking. And yes, I witnessed disputes and the odd fights inside and outside the venues. And contrary to popular belief, people, there was always a mixed hip hop crowd of people from different ethnicities and different backgrounds. We all got along because we had the common interest of hip hop music, fashion, dancing, and having a good time. And winding up the chicken shop staff if they were too slow in serving up our food. Sorry, staff, we did wind you up. But guys, it really was a great time to be growing up and living in London. I never got any grief because I didn't go out of my way to step on anyone's toes and pretty much minded my own business. But of course, if you went looking for trouble, you could always find trouble knocking at your door. So, guys, I'm painting a picture of the UK for a youngster not that long ago, where people of all backgrounds got along because we had common interests. And I believe it is those areas where we have in common that tie and bond us together as people. And that's rather than the differences that, of course, can be played on to separate us. So, if the UK is as racist and bigoted as people think, then why, oh why, are record amounts of people trying to get into the UK by both fair means and illegally? The question has to be asked. And another question that leaves me scratching my head, people, is why are people trying to enter the UK illegally from other European countries, who I thought were meant to look after these people as a first port of call, as it were? Why is the EU not clamping down on those countries who are allowing these people to risk their lives in small boats to depart from their shores and headed to the UK? Surely they should be under greater scrutiny from the EU, and made accountable. Are not they legally bound to process these people once they enter their jurisdictions and look after them? But it seems to me that these countries are complicit in this dangerous and life-threatening mess of playing human chess and checkers with these migrants by actively encouraging and possibly aiding them to leave their own shores and pushed out into the direction of here, the UK. So guys, genuine asylum seekers need our help. But these other countries need to play with a straight bat and not send down bouncers and googlies circumventing EU law to divert their migrants over here to the UK. So, the laws around migration are many and so convoluted, it is easy to see why we are all in such an absolute mess. So, guys, on asylum, the Dublin regulation is an agreement between European countries that determines who is responsible for processing asylum applications. And in essence, it states that the first European country where refugees arrive must process their asylum applications and provide protection to those who are entitled to it. Remember that, it's the first country, people. And the Dublin 3 regulation and EU law could also theoretically transfer asylum seekers to the first EU member state they arrive in after leaving their country of origin. So, guys, on migration, it's so convoluted. The European Union, or the EU, has several laws and regulations related to migration. And these include those that address irregular immigration, asylum, and solidarity, which I won't go into at this time, but I will highlight some of them. So we've got rules around the facilitators package, the Returns Directive 2008/115/EC, the Eurodac regulation, screening regulation, and then there's revised asylum procedures regulation, the APR, and asylum and migration and asylum and migration management regulation. Guys, these are all tongue twisters, and I always get tongue tied. Really? Anyway, guys, getting back to my original point, no country or community can survive and flourish if there is a them and us mentality. That is a recipe for disaster and total disaster. So, guys, from the earliest age, children are taught to mix, mingle, and integrate with other children to encourage and speed up their own development. So, why not the same with migrants? But to be fair, many migrants do mix and integrate and thrive in our communities, which is what we all wish for. But some people refuse point blank to do so. We need to integrate rather than have a closed off community, because that only feeds speculation, distrust, and does not encourage harmony or growth in the community. If people do not wish to integrate, then the question that should be asked is, why have you come here? If we were to move to another country, I would expect to make every effort to try and integrate and abide by that country's laws and customs. And when in Rome, guys, you do as the Romans do. Anyway, of course, I would expect and wish for some give and take, and for some of the new customs to rub off onto us, as we have welcomed customs and pastimes from every corner of the globe over the years. But what doesn't help is for cumulative governments shrouding the whole process of immigration in secrecy, and that is both detrimental and counterproductive, as it only encourages speculation about the methods and motives of such secrecy. It also turns all sides against each other and entrenches viewpoints. We need a full, frank, honest and open discussion on the situation and on the way to move forward for everyone. It is a very complex and highly emotive subject where there are possibly no right or wrong options, but a discussion is very much warranted, as this is a pressure cooker that is at boiling point and it's ready to explode. We need grown-up discussion from all sides and a plan of action that works for all, to ease the pressure and lessen the tensions. The very worst thing this government can do is to bury its head in the sand and pretend that nothing is amiss. They will be storing up massive issues for themselves that may not be able to be controlled or contained. We want some grown-up discussion, and we want it as quickly as possible, involving all sides in this argument. If not, we must ask ourselves, what is Keir Starmer and his government hiding from us? Why are they refusing to listen to our concerns? This is just like the question about why the governments of this world will not countenance in any discussions on UFOs. But unlike that question, people, the question on immigration has a much greater pertinence and relevance to every UK citizen and resident. I haven't even mentioned that this question is now also on the lips of many other European countries, such as Holland, Denmark, Italy and Spain. It won't go away, Keir, so the longer you leave it, the more volatile the situation will become. Sit down and break bread with us, and do it now. Yo guys, that was a serious thought for myself here. And I hope you agree with me. If you don't agree with me, if you agree with me, please let me know down here in the comments section. But it is time to have a really grown up discussion about what is going on in our country, people. We need to have this discussion. We need to have it right now. And literally, the word is, if the UK is so racist, then why are so many people risking their lives to come here? So if the UK is so racist, then why are so many people risking their lives to come here? Guys, we need a grown up discussion. We need that discussion now. Guys, make certain you look after yourselves, you look after each other, and let me know what your comments and thoughts are. And make certain, guys, to come back to the next Urban Bars reaction, guys.